Welcome, and thank you for listening to this webinar. Before we get started, I would like to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Maria Hooper. I have a degree in communications from Eastern Mennonite University, which focused in visual art, and am anticipating completing my master's in public relations from Georgetown University this spring. I have worked or volunteered at a number of nonprofit and cause organizations, including 10,000 Villages, Alliance for Peacebuilding, Mennonite Central Committee, and 2 universities. I'm currently employed by Georgetown University as the Assistant Director for the Division of Professional Communications. During this webinar, we're going to look at the following items. 1. Why are visuals important? 2. A few tips for making a larger impact with your visuals. 3. Some good and affordable tools. And 4. Examine a few case studies. As a word of caution, we'll be focusing on visuals for the internet and will not touch specifically on items like brochures or print banners. However, a lot of the tips can apply to both formats. So let's get started. Why are visuals important? We have all heard that visuals are important, but sometimes don't realize or forget why this is and what a difference good visuals can make. Brian Honigman, a digital marketing executive at Mark Echo Enterprises, reminds us of a study conducted by psychologist Albert Meherbrun, which shows that 93% of communications is nonverbal. This is because visuals can be processed by the mind 60,000 times faster than text. Brian asked nonprofits to keep this in mind when telling stories online. They must be visually appealing. He also recommends an article titled 5 Ways to Get Visual on Social Media as a way to help focus on visual elements. I would recommend checking this out for insights. Simon Choi has posted on the nonprofit marketing blog a post that outlines several important reasons for visuals and their impact. They give your organization a sense of professionalism and legitimacy. They provide credibility. A Stanford study shows that 46% of Internet users rate the credibility of an organization based on the website's visual design. And lastly, it puts donors at ease when they sense quality visuals. Besides these reasons, visuals capture your attention. A Gomez study found that 32% of visitors leave a slow site in 1 to 5 seconds, which means there's very little time to grab a visitor's attention. Remember, just having quality content isn't enough. It has to be visually pleasing and easy to navigate. Visitors do not want to have to think about how to find the information they're looking for, and will not want to hunt. It will benefit your organization to make information easy to locate. In addition, adding relevant photos to your site will increase the amount of time visitors spend on your website anywhere from 10 to 150%. The longer you have someone on your site, the more time they have to resonate with your mission. The more time they have to resonate with your mission, the more time they have to donate. However, be careful, because irrelevant photos or data that is not up to date will have the opposite effect. One of the best things about visuals is that they allow you to tell a story. It can be hard to relate to things outside of your own experience, and visuals provide a window into another reality. Charity Water has mastered video storytelling. However, you do not have to be Charity Water to do the same thing with a single good photo and a few written words to tell a great story. Mitt Ray, founder of Social Marketing Writing, offers this advice to nonprofits. Using visual stories. That is, taking pictures or posting them on sites like Instagram, Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, etc., and then writing a story behind it. They can also take videos where the story is and recite it as a play. I've seen dog shelters do this. They take videos of dogs that come to them in very bad condition and then nurse them back to health. It's a complete story told visually. So let's look at a quick case study. Photophilanthropy is an organization that connects photographers with nonprofits to help them tell their stories and bring social change through images. Photophilanthropy took pictures of an organization called Bhopal Medical Appeal. The images captured the hearts of the individuals the organization was trying to help in Bhopal, India. The images went on to be featured in the New York Times and Times Photo. The organization won several awards for their humanitarian work. Investing in visuals typically has a big payoff in the end. You are now probably wondering how to get or produce visuals with a higher impact, so let's go over a few tips and additional case studies to emphasize the impact. Photophilanthropy offers the following tips for photo essays. First, idea topic. The more specific, the better. 2. Research. Know the facts and data about your topic and know the impact of the subject or the location to the topic. 3. Find a compelling story. Find a compelling story that combines both the topic and the facts or data, and then consider how you can take that and form it into a story. Convey emotion. Decide what emotion you would like your audience to feel and consider the ways you can portray those emotions. And last, plan your shots. Make sure you have everything you need from equipment to permissions. Remember to shoot a variety of shots, including scene setting, portraits, detailed shots, and action photos. An easy way to have a quick visual impact is to do a before and after shot. Lori Randall Stratman, author of Online Reputation Management for Dummies, says, "One thing I wish nonprofits got about social media is that telling before and after stories is 1,000,000 times more compelling than kitty pictures." While this is a humorous statement, it is also very true. To help illustrate this concept, let's look at the organization Operation Smile. Operation Smile helps children with cleft palates receive treatment. They use photos of children before and after treatment to show the visual difference they are creating in a child's life. Another quick way to visually show impact is to tie action to numbers. Placing messages on photos that demonstrate the good your donation or involvement in the organization creates can be very powerful. The United Nations organization Nothing But Nets uses this method effectively. In this image, they make it obvious the difference that is being made between your donation and what is actually happening. Send a net, save a life. It's a simple message that is paired with the face of a real human being whose life is safer due to receiving a mosquito net. Often when we think of visuals, we think in terms of photos. This does not always have to be the only way. A lot of data can be displayed in a visual way that attracts readers to learn facts, and this is often called an infographic. The Alliance for Peacebuilding uses infographics effectively in their bi-yearly publication called Building Peace. They have taken some information and they could have taken the information and printed it line by line on a few pieces of paper, and we would have glazed over by fact number 3. Instead, they took the information and made it visually friendly and appealing with this creative infographic. Don't worry, this is not as intimidating as it appears, and I'm going to tell you a few ways to locate affordable tools to help you do this next. Let's move on to tools. Large corporations are able to afford expensive in-house teams or consulting firms to create visuals. This doesn't mean that you can't make impactful visuals with a considerably smaller budget. I do want to take a moment to say that not all of these tools are going to be free. Some will and some won't. The impact that quality visuals can have on your bottom line should make it okay to spend a little on visuals. You will have to occasionally spend a little money to get the impact you would like to receive, but the investment will be worth it in the end. That being said, let's get started with the free ones first. Social media. This is the first tool I'd like to touch on. While it does not really actually create visuals for you, it's an excellent and free way to distribute visuals. You don't have to be on every single site. Simply start by identifying who your key audience is and what site they go to for information. Brian Bowling recently submitted a blog post to supporting fundraising that emphasizes 2 ways that social media can help causes. 1. Social media allows your audience to interact with you and others through comments, likes, and shares. And 2, millennials in particular like instant gratification, and social media allows you to immediately post pictures of your impact. I would highly recommend reading some of the best practices about whatever platform you pick before you actually begin using it. This will allow you to get a better idea of what the platform is capable of, any important guidelines that you should follow. It will also give you an idea of what times to actually post on this particular site. According to Hootsuite, it's better to post on Facebook between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. during the weekdays. However, on Pinterest, it's better to post on weekends or weekday evenings. Now let's talk about infographics, since we touched on this earlier. There are many sites that help create infographics. Fast Company recently published its top 5 recommendations, and these are Many Eyes, Google Public Data Explorer, Hooli, Wordle, and Visually. Some of you may be wondering why you have never heard of these sites before, and if they're safe to use. The field of visual art is quickly expanding, so don't be afraid to try a site that you've never heard of. The tools are quickly expanding, and with that expansion, so are many sites that offer you very creative ways to display your information. Another tool to consider is a local impact map, and this is sponsored by Microsoft. The map lets you customize where your organization has impact throughout the world, and it includes text, pictures, and videos all together. Please note, though, this function does cost $15 a month, so you might want to consider when would be the best time to invest in it. Another tool is PowerPoint. You may think that PowerPoint is only for presentations, and you may also think that it's slightly old-fashioned. However, it can be a great tool for displaying information and creating a visual. You don't always have to think in terms of a slide deck. A single slide can present data in a visually compelling manner. In addition to PowerPoint, Prezi is another tool that has come on the scene for presentations. If done well, Prezi can be very powerful. However, be careful, because too much movement in Prezi can make your audience seasick and actually won't add anything to your presentation. Another tool I'd like to touch on are websites. We hear that websites make such a difference. However, they can be scary, intimidating, and often pricey. I would highly recommend WordPress as a starting place. WordPress is user-friendly and offers over 200 free designs. If you're willing to spend a little bit of cash, WordPress can be very flexible and customizable with a web designer. The last item I'd like to talk about for tools is Bitbox. Bitbox is actually a site that gives you design elements that you can download for free off the internet. But I use the word free loosely, because what Bitbox actually does is it doesn't charge you for the individual pieces that you download, but it does ask you for a donation. I think this is a fantastic way to be able to distribute design elements, and you can keep this going by donating when you download things. To give you a quick example of how Bitbox works, I downloaded several design elements that I used in my wedding invitations a few months ago. It's a great resource, and if you're on a budget, it can be a great way to find some design elements without having to go through a graphic designer. Since this webinar has time constraints, and you have a life, I'd like to offer a few places where you can go to find helpful tutorials to learn more about creating visuals. The internet is full of tutorials, and a few places to start to look for more information are wiredImpact.com for website information, lynda.com for software information, and Photophilanthropy for photographs or photo essays. Today we have covered why visuals are important, a few tips for more effective visuals, affordable tools to use, and we looked at a few examples of how to use visuals effectively. I hope that you are all able to learn something new today, and I would like to thank you for your time and interest in this webinar. I wish you all the best as you create and disseminate your visuals and strive to make the world a better place. Thank you.